All right, everybody. Welcome to the Reel Sharks podcast. It is your host, Rob, with his co host, Donna, Steve,
Yo,
and a very, very, very awesome dude that I've had the privilege of working with on some other podcasts, and that's Oreo Brewer. What's going on, man?
Not much, dude.
Drinking too. Got drinking too. I was just telling them I'm drinking raspberry vodka and Dr. Pepper. I'm gonna call it a blue pepper, man. I don't know if
No, I
that's a
got,
drink.
I
Oh,
got strawberries and cream shit.
you're gonna need the drink for these movies being
Man.
discussed.
right.
Mhm.
So we're going to be talking about a series of films that pretty much have changed films. Well, at least one of them has. You can make
One,
the argument
yeah.
that,
Half the
pretty
series.
much gave the perception of what we know about as dinosaurs, everything. We're going to be talking about Jurassic Park and pretty much the whole franchise of Jurassic Park. So let's go ahead and go around the bend here. And, I'll just say it first of all. I'll start my opinion here on Jurassic Park. The first movie is monumental. It's one of the greatest films ever to grace the screen. Unfortunately, for some people they may not like that, but it is the truth when it comes to special effects. It's a movie that still holds test of time. It is a movie that still gives us the idea of what dinosaurs are, even though paleontologists nowadays say like they had fucking feathers. They weren't that big. They didn't run that fast. It's like, no, Jurassic Park said they did.
Yeah,
And it's
that
just
is
one
pretty
of those,
interesting. That it's like the rule of thumb now of
it really
dinosaurs.
is. It really is. And so, for that, I would say the first movie, of course, to me gets like a 10 out of 10. The rest of them kind of is whatever, and that's even what our co-host Lucas said. But Donna, what do you think about Jurassic Park as a franchise and Jurassic World, I should say?
I actually enjoyed all of them, even the newer one. I mean, the storylines. I know you hate that, but I know the last one did have like a little corrupt storyline. I don't know. I just felt kind of sad for the girl that was, held captive like a dinosaur type thing.
Hated it.
It's interesting that you like it though, Donna, because there are people that do like these trilogies more so than the original.
I don't understand that at all. But Steve, what do you think
It's
about
well, like
Jurassic
some
Park?
people that like the new freaking Star Wars.
Well,
Oh,
they're
that's
don't say that around this
Yeah,
man right here.
yeah,
Don't say
that's
that
like
around this
a
man.
can of worms.
Steve, what
Man,
do you think of Jurassic Park as a whole, man?
as a whole, it's great. I mean, it's going to continue making money. I will. I hate to say it, but I do kind of agree. It is like Star Wars, where it's just a money making machine. If it says Jurassic anything on it, you're automatically going to go either park or world. So I like. Obviously, I love Jurassic Park 1, and it just stayed steadily got worse with each film.
That's being
Every
kind.
film they've gotten like, oh, I'll watch it, but that wasn't good, and then they not good till abysmal.
All right, Oreo, what do you think about JP and JW as a whole, as a franchise?
I like the franchise, and honestly, I like the Lost World over the original.
Interesting. Okay.
Nice.
I don't know why. It's such a good sequel, and comparing it to Jurassic World's Fallen Kingdom, it's like it still beats it. Like I love how they're both trilogies are contrasts of each other. One set up the premise for what was going to come, and JP3 is kind of shitty. It has half of a story. It's got the story, but it's missing so much. And Jurassic World
No,
came
but
back
keep it out.
and brought in more
gonna lock this
stuff,
door and
and
lock
it's
the front door.
nice.
Okay.
It's just not. It's iconic in its own way because it's appealing to a newer generation that's never seen the originals. That's why I like Jen got with the shit, because you have, us that have seen it when it firsthand versus newer ones that are like, oh, this is so dated, I don't like how it looks.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I can get behind that too. I agree with that a lot. I will agree too. The sequel is a very strong one. I actually made that argument myself. I think
Yeah.
Lost World is
It's
actually
a little too much flack.
it does get flack.
You're holding up to Jurassic Park. It's gonna be hard anyways.
Right. It's like Alien the 3 with the alien and aliens, you know what I mean? It's like of course
Yeah.
I'm gonna get shit. um but what I do actually think though is interesting though is that, what they left. Okay, so the first movie, let's just go ahead and dive into the first movie. The first movie, of course, everyone knows is about, John Hammond creates this park. Actually, let's go ahead and start about the book first. It was a book written by Michael Crichton. And
Yeah.
and I've actually read the book, and I hate to say this, this is one of those odd times. I hear a lot of people say, when they say, "Oh, I love the book more than the movie." This is one of those odd times. I actually say the movie kind of made the book better because they actually chopped the book up a lot and put it in the movies. Like the actual first two intros to JP1 and JP2 are actually in the book, but they're
Oh,
not
wow.
used like in unison. I'm sorry?
I said, oh wow, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Like when the little girl gets eaten, well, whatever, injured. That's
Nom
actually
noms.
that's actually used in the first one. That's actually used in the book. Same
Huh.
thing, and it's actually a nurse who actually treats a guy who works for Ingen, and he has all these scratches on him, and they're like, "Oh, where'd you get all these?" And he's like, "Oh, Jurassic Park, Velociraptors and shit." So then John Hammond basically has to get all his investors comfortable again in the park. Here's one of the biggest differences too. John Hammond in the book is a asshole, like huge,
Mhm.
huge asshole. I mean, he
He's like
does not.
more self-absorbed, I think, right? He's just
Oh
in his
my god,
own.
he does not care even about his grandchildren when they're lost in the park, who
Yeah.
have a flip script. I should say too, of characters. But more importantly too, there's an interesting notation. Like when I was reading the book, that I was like, wow, okay, because in the book they don't even say they're dinosaurs. They say they're genetically modified creatures. And even Samuel L. Jackson's character, he even tells them, there's a lot of things, and he actually runs a lot more of the park than you think he does. And he's sitting there telling them, yeah, we don't even know why. Like when stegosauruses get up 12 in the herd, they kill each other. He's like, and these dinosaurs die, and we can't figure out why. And he's like, this park is a goddamn mess. In the movie, they kind of set it up to where it's a little bit more organized. It's a little bit less chaotic. You do see less dinosaurs in the book, but I actually think it's for the better. But that's my personal opinion on book versus movie. Has anyone ever read the book?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
like
can't
forever
read.
ago, I think. Yeah. Can't
Okay,
really
so let's
remember
go ahead
too
and move into
much.
the first movie. I actually saw this in theaters. That's how old your host is. I actually saw this
Same.
in theaters,
Nice.
man. And that's what's scary because it's over 20 years.
Right? I know. I think this is the first movie I ever saw in theaters.
The first one I really remember, Steve, I will say that.
Yeah, me too. I
I
remember actually
really remember this
going
when I
to
was a
it.
kid.
The
Uh,
first one I remember is Star Trek Generations, actually.
nice.
1 year later.
Nice.
When you- but for
Ma-
me, when I saw, oh, go ahead, Donna. Sorry.
I was gonna say the first movie I seen was The Mummy that I can remember.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
good
a
one.
good one.
For this movie though, when I first seen it, let me just tell you, I remember as a child that seat becoming almost as big as my couch for me being terrified with the Velociraptor scenes.
Oh my
And it
goodness.
was glorious to see years later when I showed my son the same film when he was so awestruck by the dinosaur effects. But when he got to the Velociraptor scenes, he was like, "Oh fuck no," because that's when the movie gets terrifying, and it really does. And I really realized from a child's perspective, that scene with the Velociraptors is horrifying. Also, too, for those of you, fun fact: when the Velociraptor actually enters the kitchen, you can actually see a guy push his hand up against
Pushing, yeah.
to move
Yeah.
the dinosaur into place.
The
So
prop guy,
sorry if
yeah.
it ruins it for you all forever, but you'll notice it every time. You'll notice the door pops open and then a hand just go boop, just to move the dinosaur.
I'm
My
gonna have to go
childhood's
in there.
ruined.
I'm gonna have to go in there and rewatch that now just to spot that.
You'll see it every time now. You'll see it
Yeah.
every time, and you'll be like, "God damn, they just left that in there."
Well, that's like Buffy's fight in Versus Faith. You can see the cameraman at the stairs.
Right.
Love those nuances.
Yeah.
But essentially though, the first Jurassic Park is a fucking masterpiece. One of Steven Spielberg's best movies. I would actually argue, probably honestly his the best, maybe even over Jaws. Definitely over
Top three
Jaws
for sure.
production value. Definitely because the fucking effects worked in Jurassic Park. But
Yeah.
I would honestly say it is a movie that is universally recognized, just like Jaws is. It is like I'll keep pounding this point, keep banging it. There is that it really gave a cultural perception to what dinosaurs look like.
Yeah.
And even though paleontologists have said now like dinosaurs were more like birds, they're more like birds, we're still saying nah, they were the way John Hammond created them.
Ooh,
Yeah,
bless me.
definitely. Definitely. I think too it was like it spearheaded the dinosaur craze of the 90s. You guys remember there was a bunch of movies and cartoons based off the
Godzilla.
dinosaurs. That ABC Family show, the dinosaurs, and just
Not
like
the
they were
mom.
really, they were. It was like really, Jurassic Park 1 was like the thing. It was like the biggest like summer blockbuster film. It was just cultivating. It like everybody started liking it, whether you're young and old. And again, for a movie that came out in 1993, and then like you're saying right now, Rob, you're just talking about the effects like it just came out. You know what I mean? It's pretty
They're
astonishing.
still amazing.
Yeah,
They
like,
still
and
hold
it's
up a lot. They're barely right now starting to get a little bit like dated, and that's only because of like Blu-ray and everything else that's coming out
yeah.
more higher def.
But
Mhm.
still, though, it's
Still,
like that's
shit's
pretty
good.
incredible that a movie that's 20 years old is like beating some of the movies that are coming out that had bigger budgets.
Star
You
Wars.
know, this is a big budget film, and there have been bigger budget films now that they can't even match it. Nor has there really been a dinosaur movie, dare I say, that's actually even came close.
No, JP's 30.
Hmm.
30 years.
Yeah,
30 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for making us feel even older.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
I'm gonna go cry now.
Yeah.
All right,
Right.
go do it. Fuck it.
Oreo, what did you think of the first Jurassic Park the first time you ever saw it?
I was freaked out by the opening. Like that opening for that shit. That freaked me out as a kid.
Shooter!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty gnarly.
I'm like, he's gonna save him, right? He's gonna save him. He's gonna save him. I know it.
He just gets whipped up in
And
that
that
door.
the slowness of his hand sinking through the grip. I'm like, nah, he's not saved. Like, nah.
You know, I know you're a horror buff as well.
Mhm.
And on Jacked Up Movie Review.
Yeah.
As a
Don't
horror,
tell Callum here.
I know I'm always name dropping Cammy. You know, and he hates it when I call him Cammy.
I can't.
Hi, Cammy. But as a horror fan, you know, this movie is genred as a horror movie. What would you give it as a horror movie? Because I honestly think it's a great horror film, a good example of a decent horror film. You know, characters in dangers, dinosaurs are obviously the antagonist, chasing everyone around, trying to kill you. But you have, you know, Dentry there that's also fucking everything up in the park.
Yeah, as a horror film, it's definitely up there in terms of horror because you have the suspense right off the bat. Like, you know, it introduces what you're going to expect. You don't know what is in that cage. All you hear is the sounds, and it's freaking you out. And then as it builds up, you get that nice, great build up to, you know, oh, look at the pretty dinosaurs, and you see the motherfuckers killing each other. And then you get the big climax at the end, and it's like, oh, they escaped. That ain't right. Nobody survives in a horror film.
That's a great point. That's actually a very good point. And you know what's funny too is John Hammond actually does bite it in the book. He actually does bite it.
Yes.
He kills by his own creations. So the little the crappie things, actually the way that one guy died, that's kind of how he bites it, you know. So, but in the movie, he comes off as such an uncle, you know, cool uncle character that everyone loves.
Kind of, though, because he's still sort of self-absorbed about
Yeah.
everything, though, Rob. Like,
Especially that one scene where he's like, you know, when we have control, and she's like, you never had control.
Yeah, definitely. And then it like zooms in on his face, and he's sort of processing it. It's like, so he's not like, it's like he's lovable because he's smiling all the time, and he's like, oh, look what I got, my grandchildren. He's got a cane. You know,
Yeah.
so it's cool, kind of, but I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this film,
It's his dinosaur.
right?
Literally.
Definitely. And then, like, you know, just
Yeah,
like you guys are talking about, the gore of this film was probably the craziest film at the time I've ever seen outside of horror.
You know, nowadays when I look at it, I actually have to laugh because it wasn't that bad. However, though, there are some scenes though that you're like, dude.
I mean, with the kids in the forest with the
Or the
T-Rex.
lawyer who also had a flip script from the book. Also,
Yeah.
also one of my favorite scenes when he's just like, when Samuel L. Jackson's arm comes down.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that couldn't be a better scene in movies. Oh, Mr. Arnold.
Yeah.
And then the raptors like slamming against the gate and everything. That was terrifying.
The fence.
That was
The
terrifying.
fence was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slapping against the fence, or even though we make fun of that scene too nowadays, the whole clever girl. That scene is terrifying because when you see them devouring him, it's pretty brutal.
It's pretty bad.
Mhm. But going back to the fence scene, that is pretty graphic for a kid's death, near death. You don't see
Yeah.
that shit no more. You never see kid violence anymore. I hate it.
Right.
Give me some kid violence. I wanna see
We need
that
more
shit.
kids eaten by dinosaurs.
We have Pennywise in it. There's plenty of kid violence in
There
that.
we go.
There's
That was
Annabelle.
good. That made me happy
Okay.
seeing that little arm get ripped off.
Right. That was the
shit
only
good.
glorified part from the original was seeing the actual gore of him eating that kid.
Eating kids.
That's the only thing I got
Yeah.
behind. I was like, cool. They showed it.
He eats kids twice. He eats another one in the part 2, right? He eats another kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Donna, what did you think of 1 before we move into 2?
I felt kind of jealous of the kid because I wanted to feed the giant dinosaur too.
Oh my God, you kind of look like that girl when you were younger too, with the whole, especially when it was covering her in boogers.
God
Just-
bless you.
God bless you. You kind of sound like her.
Yep.
Bless you.
Oh,
I'm gonna start saving up money right now. I'm gonna come see you soon.
nice. All right, so let's move into the second one, which is Lost World, which obviously starred a more prominent Jeff Goldblum,
Mhm.
who was also in the first one, who had some of the best one-liners, like "Well, life finds a way," of course. And that was really the whole premise of the first movie, and what it really is about chaos theory. You can't control nature, with a little undertones of greed, of corporate greed. Now, I'm gonna say this, even though I will say that the second one is a great sequel. I will argue this is where Jurassic Park kind of strayed away from the idea of like controlling nature to more of like, this is corporate greed. This is about
Yeah.
engine and all them trying to like take the dinosaurs, make a park, make that money, stack that paper. But just
I do
doing
miss
it
the
in
vehicle
stupid ways.
showcasing though. That I missed a lot in Jurassic World. Because that was like the big draw for Lost World was you had the surveillance vans, you had everything from Mercedes Benz, and it was just like, oh, this is amazing. You even got Hummer in there too. And it was so cool because when you're a kid, you're like, I want that car. I need that car. And boom, Kenner's putting out toys for it and shit. And then as you go further into the sagas, there's not much showcase for vehicles. It's just more character driven.
I would agree with that. But I would also say too, in a way, these movies do rely on the incredible characters that were set in the first one. Like, Jeff Goldblum was an awesome character in the original, and he kind of saved the second one because the second one was, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it was all a whole movie to get to the T-Rex in San Diego, which was cool. Don't get me wrong, which was cool. But and also too inspired fucking Godzilla. Like ever since they did that, that was everyone got, especially Godzilla '95 one, wanted to do exactly that. Everyone wanted a fucking dinosaur in the city kind of scene.
I mean, we have
after that.
Godzilla coming out the next year, so
Yeah, we did, and it literally tried to capitalize on your love for fucking Jurassic Park. So it just would have tried to be Jurassic Park.
Godzilla 98
There was a
is God
dinosaur.
tier
It was just
film,
a-
goddamn it.
I haven't seen any of the Godzillas.
Do you hear how silent we all went?
Yeah, I know.
Do you hear that? And
No,
I'm
that's
gonna have
fine.
to edit this
Again-
out of this podcast episode because people are gonna bombard us and be like, "Are you fucking serious?"
they're just gonna
Who's
tell her to
thinking
watch the
Godzilla?
1998 one, which is by far the best Godzilla to ever be created.
Shut the fuck up, Steve.
Dude, I still
You have to watch that one.
It's a guilty
first.
pleasure. It's a guilty pleasure. I love it too. It's a guilty. I like Matthew Broderick, and I love fucking the French guys in that movie because they are literally the most French guys they ever fucking
Yeah.
French. They really are. They're like the most stereotypical French guys. No croissant. No, this is America.
You call this French coffee. This is no French coffee.
Oh, you said this is a French roast. I call this America. Everything about them was like so. They're even smoking cigarettes in like every scene.
And
Like, of
every
course,
scene they're doing, yeah,
every
it's the
scene.
most cliche thing.
But anyway, you had one of the probably most stupidest companies to ever on the face of the earth be established, Engine, who now, John Hammond is apparently dying, and everyone's so sad. Now he's leaving it up to, I think it's his grandson in the film, who's like, hey,
Mhm.
I have a completely different vision than you. I plan on taking this shit to San Diego where you were gonna make a cool park, and I'm gonna make some cheddar. And that was basically his idea. And then John Hammond's like, no, we gotta study the animals. Let everyone know they need to be left alone on the island to live naturally. Blah blah blah. And you had basically Vince Vaughn, you know, a bunch of guys getting chased by raptors, even though you had a great scene too with, don't go into the long grass. It was an interesting sequel, which I enjoyed. But overall though, I would actually argue that, it really kind of set a bad precedent for the franchise to come. And I mean that because it left it open for more of like, this is more about corporate greed than it is about the chaos theory now. But you had some cool scenes and you had some great actors in the second one too.
What about the out of the first and second films, I felt like the Raptors obviously were
Come more into
front,
play. Well,
yeah, front and
they
center.
backseat though in the second one,
In the
which
in the second one,
I didn't
they
mind.
did, yeah.
But they are
But
a key part of a missing kind of scene is when like because everyone always wonders how the hell did the boat get into San Diego Harbor and no one was driving it and stuff. There's
right,
actually a scene that was written out. It's where the Raptors actually jump onto the boat and kill everyone on board. And they actually cut it out because of time purposes. And they were like, whatever, people will figure it out.
That's what I just found out recently. There was shit cut out of Tombstone, and I was mad about that.
3 hours long.
No, long story short, there was a month of footage shot that involved the Cowboys and the wives, and it was cut out.
I believe it. That's how they always do. And it's so funny too when you actually see them put some of that footage back in. Good example I can always think of is I personally feel like The Watchmen, the director's cut that Zack Snyder put out with the extra stuff in it, was way better than the theatrical cut.
Oh yeah, definitely. I own that shit. God tier.
Donna, what did you think of the second Jurassic Park? Did you think it was as strong as the first, or were you just like, cool motorcycles, dinosaurs? We're wrangling dinosaurs like cowboys now.
Kinda, except on motorcycles.
Okay.
We don't really do those around here. We usually have horseback.
Okay, well you get that in Dominion, but okay.
All right, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Close enough. I'm in Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Okay, Twister Bill.
Yes. Listen, you do not understand. I went to go to bed Monday, and about 2:00 in the morning, we had hail, and I'm like, oh hell, here we go.
Shit. Yeah, even for me, I'm like, oh shit,
Here
that's Twister weather. God damn.
It was.
That's
and I
not...
got out and looked outside, and thankfully it was like little pea-sized hail, nothing too bad. And I was like, okay, I'm going to bed.
We got cows.
We got another cow.
Don't. Don't
cow.
ask her to say it because she sounds just like it. Steve, what did you think of the second Jurassic Park?
I love it, man. I thought, you know what, as a kid, I loved it. And then when I got older, I was like, oh, is this good? I don't know if it's as great as I thought it was. But then like now I'm like, you know what? No, it is. It is actually good. And not
It's
just because
sequel.
of the other films we'll talk about. I think just talking about one, the sequel to Jurassic Park, I think it's good. I think it gets a lot of trash for necessary scenes, the gymnastic daughter playing into effect where she's
cringe.
It's bad. And that just a lot of like some of the Jeff Goldblum stuff also doesn't work for me. The whole love story, overtaking the whole and then they kind of neuter the T-Rex. I didn't like either, dude. Like, oh, she's calling for her, the mother's coming. I was like, well, that's all you had for the T-Rex? Like, what happened to the badass, like, I'm going to go hunt these kids? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care. I'm a predator. It's kind of just like, okay, well, I'm going to knock over this trailer, and then that's it.
And Vince Vaughn's character, even though he had a cool premise being like this, like, environmental terrorist in a way,
yeah,
they barely used him in that idea, and he does actually kind of say, like, Hammond, he actually put a contingency plan in here in case these guys showed up, and they're like, what is that? And he's like, me. And then he releases them all because he's like, he's one of those guys, might as well work for fucking Alf. But
Right.
You know
dinosaurs.
what's really fun about the whole saga though?
What's up?
Is going back to where everybody was at that time frame and where they went to after that. That's what I like tracing on that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Elaborate a little more on that.
Well, let me see. When did Swingers come out? Wasn't that 98?
Swingers
Yeah.
was actually before Jurassic Park. I mean Lost World. I'm pretty sure, but I love that film too. That's interesting you bring that up because when Swingers actually came out in 1996, and I gotta say what's interesting about that film and when Lost World came out is I remember seeing Swingers, and then I remember seeing Vince Vaughn in Lost World and be like, wow, that dude is really starting to come up and really starting to come up in prominence here because I'm seeing him in now this movie. I mean, even though he has a small role, that's Vince Vaughn. I was like, that's fucking Vince Vaughn in that film. And now you're like, Vince Vaughn, he's always been a star. It's like, no, there was a point in time where Vince Vaughn was in the backdrop, and one of those films was in Lost World. Because he hardly has any memorable scenes besides, like, him going in there to call them, him saying, like, de los muertes, 5 deaths, and all that stuff. I mean, those are, like, some of the most memorable scenes I can remember he had for as awesome of a character as he was.
And then you look at Julianne Moore, and she went on to do Hannibal.
Right.
That's amazing when you look at where they went. They went from one franchise to another. And then you keep seeing how they go from different franchises than they do independent stuff. And then
Pete Postlethwaite, God rest his soul. He did a lot of awesome things too, as well. He went on to. He was the bald guy in Lost World.
Yeah,
the guy who wanted.
He's a great actor too. Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff before, and an actor. So there was definitely a lot of people that kind of, again, this is a successful movie just because of it's riding the coattails of Jurassic Park. So again, you're gonna get some win and you're gonna get some loss from that, because what can you do to really top that idea? The first film was so good. The second one is like, well, now that we've figured out that children like the film, we have to appeal to the children while having a child that does, crazy.
We know they like the Velociraptors jumping,
Jumping, yeah. So we're gonna have to kick that, acrobatics in the film, and actually have it into play. Kick one of the raptors.
So let's move on to what I think is probably the turning into now a beautiful dumpster fire. When it first came out, I actually went and seen it, and this is like one of the very few films I ever took my mother to, and I was actually ashamed to take her to it because this is the first movie she ever saw of Jurassic Park, and she was like, "That movie sucked, you guys." And we're like, "This isn't really how they're supposed to be." So, of course, we have the third one, Jurassic Park 3, where they go back to Isla Sorna, which is where the second one takes place, because there's 2 islands, everybody. 2 islands, Isla Nublar and Isla Sorna. God forbid you get those fucking mixed up, as everyone in the film seems to do.
Sword ass.
You had, probably one of the only times these movies will stray away from not only the park aspect, but a little bit of the greed aspect as well, to just kind of play into, this is just Lost on the fucking island, and it's just a caper of, I'm being chased by dinosaurs, because that's all it is a big fucking chase scene. That's all the movie is in the third one. And also, I would like to add, they actually use the pterosaur scene, the cage scene, from the book in this one. So that was in the book, and they just switched it to the third movie. So now this is another time where they actually took it from the book and put it in the movie again. So, third one, we had fucking Dr. Grant doesn't want to go back to the island. We got a kid being stupid with, I guess, his stepdad. This kid being stupid gets lost on the goddamn island, and then you had his parents, of course, have to go retrieve him. They, of course, lie to Dr. Grant to get him, and his assistant, who to get them back on the island. It's pretty fucking hilarious because you had one of the most cringiest, I would say. But I have to say, I love it now. I love it in retrospect because you had William H. Macy.
Dinosaurs?
No, Steve. I love when he's having the dream sequence. When Sam Neill is sitting in the fucking plane and he looks over and the raptor's like, Alan.
You like that?
It's so stupid. It's it was such a beans to just get the raptors in there for a split second so you remembered you were watching Jurassic Park during this like boring shit. You're just obviously looks over and it's like, Alan. It gets me every time. It tickles me pink. I can't help it.
I'm not gonna lie. I
That's a
like
real
that scene
person.
too, all for the wrong reasons. Because it's just like, why did they do that? Like, what?
The introduction of the Spinosaurus, which was given to actually them by I forget his name, but he's an paleontologist that hated Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he's like, why don't you just put Spinosaurus in there? Spinosaurus would kill the T Rex, and then they basically created this whole new, I don't want to say plot hole, but kind of new species, and they pretty much messed up the Spinosaurus forever in the paleontology community because now it was like now we know it's all different looking and all that shit. But that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, the whole movie itself is a fucking disaster though because it's a script that, as they even said, looking back on the production, they were kind of just freeballing it. They literally were just kind of like, hey, you know what? We're gonna try and just kind of go in the air with it and see where we land, and that's
It's
kind of
like
what the
a
movie
5, 6
is.
out of 10 for me.
Yeah, you think it's a 6 out of 10?
5, 6.
5, okay.
Pretty good still.
I will say now, looking back, when you have Jurassic World Dominion and Jurassic World Lost Kingdom, it makes Jurassic Park 3 look pretty fucking good. Because
I'll
you
watch that any day. No.
the original premise, which is the island being chased by fucking dinosaurs. That's what the movie was originally about. You know, we have chaos theory, but the whole fun thing was being chased by dinosaurs. We wanted to see that everyone chased by fucking dinosaurs, and that was kind of what the third one was. And even though a lot of people hated it, even though they couldn't even get new music, they had to recycle the old music from the movies to do the introduction. They couldn't even get a different fucking view of Puerto Rico or wherever the hell they shot the. I think it was Hawaii. They couldn't even get a new fucking scene of the islands. They had to recycle all of them. Even though that all happened, I think number 3 is a beautiful dumpster fire.
Although recycling footage is pretty fucking smart, though. It saves on cost.
It does. It does. It really does.
And then it also does, like, you take no risks because you know people like that. You know what I mean? They want to
I already know what
use
they're.
the music. They love the music. It's iconic with the series already. So they were really trying to be like, we want to make another one, but we don't want to upset anybody. So, and then we also kind of don't want to spend a lot of money.
Pretty
Like,
much.
we want to film. We just don't want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like we want another one, but we're not going to give the budget again like that. Like,
Yeah.
So, Steve, is that your overall premise of the third one?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, again, I agree with you, Rob. I'm like, look, I think it's fine. I don't think it's that bad now, you know, in hindsight.
Right,
But it's
Hindsight award.
yeah, dude. But it's good. I mean, again, I can go through this and be like, yeah, it's funny. I'll laugh and that's not as bad as I thought it was, or go, oh, that is bad, but I've now seen worse. But I agree. I agree with Oreo. I'd give it probably like a 6 out of 10 now. Doable. You can watch it in the.
Donna, what would you give Jurassic Park 3?
6 out of 10.
Did you like it?
I did.
What did you like about it?
Now you gotta go and ask me that. God dang it. Do you know how long it's been since I've watched that one? Like, I've seen all of them.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I liked all the the whole franchise, so.
Oreo, what did you think of the third one?
It's good. It's got its issues. It's missing a lot of story, but it's still worth a good watch. It's just not one of those that like you religiously watch. It's more of a Sunday afternoon burner for you.
There ain't nothing else on. I get you. All right, let's go ahead and move into what I thought personally was the revamp of it. And, you know, I actually went and saw this movie with Steve. We actually sat there and we went and saw Jurassic World.
Wow.
We actually sat there and I mean, Steve, help me out if I'm speaking for both of us. We went in there going, you know what? This is going to be
Hold
crap.
hands and enjoy it.
We did. We held
Yeah.
hands. You know, I did the popcorn trick
You
with my
skipped
penis.
out.
I did all that stuff.
This was the best movie ever.
Right. So we went in and we saw it. I wasn't expecting much. And, you know, for all the issues that I thought Jurassic World had. I liked it. I liked it a lot, and
Yeah.
I'll name some of the minor issues that I had, and some people too will probably say that was a major one for me. But I was like, you know what? That's what a revamp kind of does. I didn't really care for the whole, oh, now the Velociraptors are good guys. It would be like if they remade, Nightmare on Elm Street right now and Freddy Krueger was a fucking good guy. Like, it was kind of like, okay, we're here.
I'm gonna sing you lullabies instead of ganking you.
Right. It's
Right.
like, we're going to be pets instead of eating your ass, on site. You had, the park is built now, which was interesting because you had the whole product placement, you had the whole idea of what Jurassic Park would have been, which I thought was cool. One of the things I liked the most about Jurassic World, which I think does not get enough credit, is I like that they acknowledged the other movies. It wasn't just a revamp that was like, hey, that shit never existed, or that shit. They're like, oh no, that last island was real. That's the no-go zone. We don't go
Yeah.
there because shit happened. Blah blah blah.
Mm.
Here's
Get
where
us to the park here instead.
right, we're gonna build
It's
a
so
park
much
where
safer.
disaster happened.
It's totally facts.
Here's the part I really didn't like though, and this is where it started to stray more away from like chaos theory, which is still there, to can't control nature, to corporate greed and the idea of like Indominus Rex and them, corporations basically, spending all the money to create the dinosaur now and the attractions, and how kids and everyone's like, oh, whatever, it's a dinosaur. We need new dinosaurs. Now we need genetically modified ones. And even still, it was almost a ploy of corporate greed because that was kind of their game plan. Like, oh, the Indominus is going to get out and kill everybody, and we're going to do a test, and these things are going to save lives. Yada 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 yada.
It is smart though.
It.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean you have to build a product to keep your customers coming back for more. So yeah, you need the corporate greed to make it work. And yeah, it's
Right,
nice to not deal with corporate greed, but in Jurassic Park and World, corporate greed is always going to be there, whether
Yep.
it's InGen or something
Absolutely.
else.
Absolutely. But this is the one where I thought it got kind of a little bit where it starts to lose me a little bit. And is that your overall take on Jurassic World, Oreo?
I liked it. It's good. It's like an 8.2 out of 10 for me. I enjoyed it. I liked recently. I watched the extended cut for Dominion, and I like that, but I still love Lost World the most.
Okay.
Mm.
Steve, what did you think about Lost World? Because I really want to get into the last two.
Yeah, I agree, man. This one was all right. We did see this, and I don't know if I was the one out of the two who was like, yeah, it was just all right. I think we both had the same, like, oh, that was actually better than what we thought, because we were going in going like, we're gonna hate this. We were just like, whatever, we'll just watch it, stress it. And then we were like, oh no, that's actually pretty cool. It was setting up for the other films, and we were like, okay, like I can. As some things I didn't like. I didn't like the Chris Pratt character at all, and there were some things, but overall, I was like, fine, I can live with this. This is cool. I'm interested. I want to see what they're gonna go with, with the rest of the films. And yeah, I'd probably give it like a 7.
7?
Maybe,
Okay.
yeah, maybe a 7 now.
Revamped out of a 7. Okay. Donna, what'd you think of Jurassic World?
I'd say I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Interesting.
And that's because the graphics were pretty freaking good. I mean, for our time, even though it's a couple years old. I mean, pretty good. But, like, my favorite part's when the freaking dinosaur thing, whatever, comes out of the water and eats that freaking shark.
Yeah.
Whatever dinosaur that was. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going.
Let me ask you this, because this was an issue with the film, Donna. I want to know, and personally, I loved it, and I thought it made a good, organic, natural, funny moment, was when Bryce Dallas Howard with the high heels was in the movie, and she does the whole, he's all, you're going to come with me, and she does the whole, puts up her shirt, and he's like, what is that? And she runs in the whole movie in high heels. Some people found that to be a problem. Did you find that to be an issue, Donna?
I can't even walk in heels.
She outrun a
Impressive.
T-Rex in high heels.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, Flair.
No, I can't even walk in heels. Okay, not happening. Now I know there are some people out there, male and female, that can run in heels. I'm just not one of them.
I'm not one of them.
I think it's funny that they actually digitally flattened her ass for the one film.
Yeah, right.
I looked
yeah.
that up. I was like, no fucking way. And then I saw
that
her
true?
actual photo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah,
Well, I learned something here. That's crazy.
yeah.
That's
Like,
true.
why was it Fallen Kingdom or no? It's Fallen Kingdom. Because there's one poster of her where it's a side profile, and somebody did a side by side comparison of what she looked like after. I'm like, they flattened her ass. Like, seriously, they gave her a.
Normally,
secretary
Hollywood
ass.
tries to make everything bigger.
The camera puts on 10 pounds, Donna. Jesus.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
my
Doing 20
excuse.
pounds for
That is
camera.
my excuse. I didn't gain 30 pounds in 3 months. The camera gave me 10 extra pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll take your word for it.
Oh,
All right, let's go ahead and move into probably, and I know we got some fans here, but I'm gonna say my least favorite of the whole franchise. And I'm gonna say I don't think there could be a more befitting role than to give Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom the title of Fallen Kingdom, because it absolutely was kind of a representation of the of Fallen Kingdom of this franchise to me. We had this. The dinosaurs are dying. The whole fucking island now is whatever. So let's just get this straight here. They built a park all these years on an island that had a fucking active volcano.
Right?
you know, all the fucking dinosaur death insurance claims aside,
Yeah.
why the fuck were they like, that's a good idea to build it on the active volcano? Maybe to make it more like a Mesozoic, Jurassic kind of era. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's what we're going for. But anyway, the thing's gonna blow. So we got a ticking clock in the film, which
Mhm.
obviously everyone thinks is exciting.
I got goosebumps thinking about that shit.
But what I really hated was you had basically one of the most incompetent mercenary crews that they had to go save these dinosaurs, with Chris Pratt and what is it,
Flat-ass
Bryce
motherfucker.
Howard sneak
Yeah.
on without anything, and they were just, oh, hey, where are you guys from? Oh yeah, we're with crew. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, we're not gonna check to see who you are, any
Right.
type of credentials. How did you even get
Well,
up here?
But
You know
then
who we are with the quips.
with the quips, that's who we are. See the bandanas. But and then we had, and then so basically their whole premise again, because they're trusting Engine, and they think, or Biosyn, whatever the fuck the company is at this
Yeah.
point, they're like, you know what, they're cool, they're trustworthy. After all the years of screwing us over, maybe they've learned their lesson. Nope. Of course they want to take the dinosaurs away, take them off the island, and I don't care what anyone says. Me and Steve took so much flack for this, and me and him are going to double down again. I will say it again. That part where the Brachiosaurus is running on fire is the most funniest fucking scene I've ever seen in my life.
Of all that was like
All time.
yeah, that's the
Because
most
I
unexpected
was
funny.
thinking was you guys left the biggest fucking thing on the island. You forgot to get the biggest thing on the goddamn island. And it's just run slow motion, like you're supposed to feel sympathy for this digitized fucking Brachiosaurus running at
Listen
you.
here, I did.
You leave Littlefoot's relative alone.
Exactly.
Littlefoot, no. That's
Yes.
the time. That's how it ends.
I'm sorry, but then we once we went through all that, we got to this basically what I would assume is a Bilderberg type event. Buying fucking dinosaurs. And this is what I love about the plot. It was like, okay, so what should we do, guys? Should we build a new park to make up the money? No. Better. Let's sell them.
That's pretty smart, though.
Mhm.
In
Bro,
the
they
black
could have
market?
another.
Yeah.
But no, you look at Jurassic. You look at the whole Jurassic saga. The whole premise is corporate greed.
Corporate greed, of course.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's a great one. It's like, let's just cut straight to it. Let's
And
just
I like
let's just,
that got expanded in Dominion. That really made me happy.
in the comics.
No, Dominion.
Oh, Dominion. Okay.
Yeah. I know there's comics and stuff, but I haven't
Yeah,
read those.
actually, I've read some of the comics. You should cover some of those, 'cause I know this man actually covers comics on his channel. Everybody, make sure you check that out.
I gotta track that shit down. Actually, that's
Oh, dude, I read one of them back in the day. There's comics of where they actually go and take back the island and stuff.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it actually before the movies. But anyway, so you had, and one of my favorite things too. So you're selling dinosaurs to the highest bidder, and they're just raking up the bank here. But then they introduce a new dinosaur, and this one has teeth, balls, claws. It basically has a fucking laser pointer on
Yeah,
it.
And
it's
it's
the whole
black.
kit and caboodle in one.
And we're talking, of course, about the what was it, the Indo,
Indoraptor.
not the not outdo,
Indo,
Indo
yeah.
the Indo fucking raptor. And of course, like everything else on the island, couldn't stop the all the bio, engineering in the world to stop it from going rogue like everything else. Who knew? That, of course, is what happened again, and it goes around and starts killing everybody. And of
Ugh.
course, had Chris Pratt and Howard going around saving these things. And you had probably one of the most cringiest moments of the world in all of Jurassic Park franchise. I hate to say it, because you had the little girl. Because of course we've run out of benefactors for John Hammond. Everyone's fucking dead at this point. One dude fucking John Hammond's dead. Other guy fucking died from the T-Rex. Maserati got fucking blown up in the chopper. Everyone else that's ever fucking touched this park has died. But this new guy too, he worked with John. Blah blah blah. He's dead now. So now they're like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just skip it and just skip the whole John Hammond benefactor thing and leave it with this little girl who, I'm sorry, it's the most cringiest moment in movie history when she's sitting there, dinosaurs are dying in their pens, and basically she's like, they're just like me. Button releases biodiversity to damage the fucking ecosystem for years to come.
Although I did like the plot twist of her being a genetic creation like that.
I knew
That's
I knew
cool
it was
to me.
coming.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know.
My thing is like, is that why she exists? Because you can't have a dinosaur film now if it's exclusively Jurassic Park without a little kid or some type of kid dynamic, because the film would have been, I feel like, exponentially better, and in some cases the same without her. Like she's like,
yeah.
she doesn't need to exist in the film. I'm saying it's like her being like cutting back to her and her father, and yeah, oh my gosh, I have a sense of connection with these beasts. It's like, but why do you have it though? Other than we already know, right? Yeah, the clone. But I mean, even if she wasn't a clone, it's like, why though? Why do you have to have that? Like, why can't you be like it how it was, which is basically just you're in awe of the spectacle of what they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel bad for them. They are these larger than life things. I feel, you know what I mean? But no, I'm genetically like modified human
Attached.
being. Yeah, and I'm attached to these things. I just felt like that's so very
I
bad.
would
It's
have
just
liked
bad.
it better if she would have just pushed the button and they were like, "Why'd you do that?" And she's like, "Because I fucking felt like it." Like,
Well, she's
I
bad.
was more happy with that.
We haven't learned from the other islands.
Pull
So-
Korea out of rest.
Oreo-
Apathy is death.
Oreo, you obviously liked the film. So what was your overall take of Fallen Kingdom?
Oh, I took my sister to see that actually, and she loved dinosaurs since she was little. And we saw that in D-Box, actually. That was a lot of fun. And looking back now, I did a rewatch recently, I think it was last year sometime, and I enjoyed it. And it's an average film, but it's still good. And in terms of like it explores more of the corporate greed structure, and I
give you
like
that.
that. And I think that was like that's the whole premise of Jurassic, is that it explores more of the corporate side versus just the dinosaur side. If it was all dinosaurs, like, ooh, this is an amazing moneymaker, but it's also beating a dead horse. You got to have more to it than just, hey, look, dinosaurs, they're killing shit. No, we got to have more. Why are they killing shit? Who's really benefiting from this? Oh, corporate greed comes in. Yeah, it's a decent sequel. It's not top tier, but like, I guess 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Donna, what'd you think of Fallen Kingdom?
I'd agree with Oreo. I'd give it a 6 out of 10 though, because
Okay.
I wasn't that impressed with it. But I mean, all we're doing now is we're trying to get I don't know how to say this. I'm trying to think of the words and they're not coming out. Uh, we're beating a dead horse, basically.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
like Disney is with a lot of their movies. They're trying to revamp everything because it did so well the first couple times, and let's go ahead and try
That's
something
because
different.
they know you'll see it.
Yeah, I know. Like the live action Moana that's supposed to come
They
out.
know
I'll
you'll
watch
see it. That's why. They know specifically because you're gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
No matter what, because they know that, let's be our guest. Okay, so I guess Steve's having some issues, so I guess that's why we lost him. Anyway, let's go ahead and move into the last one. And probably I just watched this one today. And I know you said you liked this one, Oreo, but I have to actually push back on this one a little bit because even the corporate greed aspect of this one kind of gets lost in Dominion. And I really, and I said this like off air to them, like to the rest of the crew. You can take the island out of a movie, but you can't take the island out of the franchise.
Yeah, that's true.
Because all you're really doing at this point, and this is why because Donna, the first thing Donna said to me when she watched it, she was like, I liked it, but there was so many plots. And I was like, that's because it was like Indiana Jones meets Bourne Identity and some
Yeah.
like, spy thriller here. I was like, but with fucking dinosaurs everywhere. I was like, it really was like an international spy thriller, but with dinosaurs. And there was parts. You even had some How to Train Your Dragon moments in here with the whole, him
Yeah.
He was-
doing this to the
With
animals.
Blue.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Hey, at least they chased the dinosaurs this time on horseback.
That was a good experience indeed.
I was like, that we had cowboys and dinosaurs. We had everything. Hey, Steve's back. We had
God.
cowboys and dinosaurs. They were wrangling dinosaurs on horses. And the whole movie, I hate to say it, when it came back all around to the full-blown ending, it was the same as the ending in Fallen Kingdom, where the dinosaurs are just kind of running around like yelling at the lions and shit. You saw the mosasaur in the ocean with the humpback whales and stuff. I mean, it was the same ending. But the whole movie I was watching it, I was like, this, when you take the island out of it,
Yeah.
you're making every B movie with dinosaurs or any other movie with dinosaurs. It's like taking the time frame out of The Purge. It's not The Purge anymore. It's just Mad
Purge.
Max.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Just Mad Max at that point. It's just, it's just
I'll give you this. All right, so it's not mostly corporate greed in Dominion. It's more climate change oriented in Dominion.
give you that.
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
There is that big, huge push of like, look at what we did. But also, I will not lie. When I was watching it, I did notice that. But the whole time I'm sitting here thinking about the climate, I'm like, yeah, but this is, again, corporate greed. This is one corporation trying to fuck it up and control everything again.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, we have a sanctuary. It's a town of volcano.
Yeah.
Right.
This time there is no volcanoes. Now we can't fuck it up. But
It is
But-
so right, Rob. That you made a good point that this is basically it's not even a rehash. It's the same story 3 times almost.
it's multiple stories.
over
It's dinosaurs.
this
Yeah.
entire
And I
new
really
trilogy.
the
It's corporate greed. Okay, the second one. Is it a continuation of the and no.
It could be a new layer of it, though.
yeah, I agree there. I'll give this one, and I didn't really get to give my ratings on the first two. First Jurassic Park I give 10 out of 10. Lost World I actually give 7 out of 10. Jurassic Park 3 nowadays, I mean, depending on what day you ask me, but I would honestly say I'd give that movie a probably a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's a fun watch. It's a guilty pleasure
Yes.
to watch. It's one I
Yes.
can watch, when I
Deserving
pop
6.
on. Jurassic World, I actually am at a 7 out of 10 with that one. I thought it was pretty good. Fallen Kingdom, I'm gonna give it a fucking 5.
Oh.
And then Dominion, bro. I'll because I like Oreo so much, I'm gonna give it a 5.
Oh wow. Really? I couldn't watch it in one go.
I didn't watch it in one go. I will give it a 5 because the special effects are balls to the walls awesome.
And
I mean,
D-Box for that was spectacular.
There was some good stuff there.
Mm.
Donna, you liked Dominion. Why did you like Dominion?
The graphics.
And
Was-
Kayla, especially
you know,
Kayla.
just the graphics. I mean, especially when like the plane hits the ice and the
You were hoping Chris Pratt
fishy
was going to
dude.
go shirtless in one moment, right?
Do what?
You were hoping Chris Pratt was going to go shirtless in one moment, right?
No, not really.
That
I-
shit gets old.
I mean,
It's like,
he's a good actor, but he's nothing to write home about, you know.
Oh, okay. You're not a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of girl.
I do
She's
like
not
the
a Super
Guardians of
Mario
the
kind of girl.
I'm a Guardian of the Galaxies type of girl, but I'm more of a Groot person.
Okay, more group. Okay, fair
all
enough.
right, you three-worded motherfucker.
Pretty much.
Overall, though, I would say Jurassic Park in the realm of films, like, it can't be denied that this is a set of films that have changed movies. Changed movies, changed perspectives, pretty much has molded the perception we have of dinosaurs today.
hmm
And for that, I actually think it deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Um, as I said,
Special effects, especially.
special effects, story structure. I
But
would argue.
Phil Tippett.
I would argue that Jurassic Park is a good example of quite a few things when it comes to making a good movie, making a good sequel, making a good revamp.
Yeah.
I would say, it kind of it does the rules correctly. That's what I would honestly argue as a franchise as a whole with it. And to be honest, like if I'm giving the franchise as a whole, like compared to like Lord of the Rings and all the other ones we give, I would honestly give it I would give it a 7. I mean, yeah, the movies I think go in order, but they do have fans, like or they do have fans to them. Some people really do dig the whole more the dinosaurs running around and the corporate greed of aspect of it too, which I honestly can see why it's appealing. I really do, because that does
Mhm.
speak truth to a lot of shit nowadays. I mean, if dinosaurs are real, you better believe people would be trying to buy them and hunt them and fucking do all kinds of horrible shit with them.
And they would just stand around taking videos as they're killing something.
Right. Like,
Help me! I have to get this video shut up. Keep dying.
So,
Or I would say we're also everybody is so numb to digital heroin they wouldn't they wouldn't be able to comprehend such a culture shock.
so is that your opinion of Jurassic Park as a whole, Oreo?
Yeah, it's a great fucking franchise. Like I agree with you, it's a 7 out of 10. Because you have so much it's its own contained universe. And you don't have to worry about outside shit, and they don't worry about gags and all that to keep it going. They keep with the same recipe. They don't change very much with it. They expand a lot, and some of it got lost in translation, but it's still coherent.
Okay. Donna?
The whole franchise, 9 out of 10.
Okay.
And I mean, and that's because I think the older I get, it's not like I liked the movies when I was a kid. I still like them as an adult.
Yeah, same.
And so it's always nice to have that one type of franchise I can go back and be like, you know what, this movie was awesome when I first watched it, and it's awesome still now. I mean, are they getting a little out of line with the newer ones? Yes, they are. Hopefully they don't make any more.
Yeah, for real.
But, it's one thing I can sit down and watch with my kids, and I know
Right.
they'll enjoy it also.
Steve?
I agree. I agree with that. I think it's just you cannot capture lightning in a bottle again.
True.
With anything, and the first film is obviously evidence of that. Where it's like every film was trying to catch that in some way, and it didn't succeed, but it succeeded in other ways. Even this Dominion thing, I wasn't a big fan of them, just because of their coherent style of story writing from Jurassic World to Dominion was not good. You can't watch all 3 of those films, just like the original ones. You can't watch Jurassic, Park 1 to Jurassic Park 3 and be like, oh, they're one seamless story. They're all their own thing. But Jurassic World and Jurassic Park, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion were all kind of supposed to be one cohesive story, separated by a couple of years and these dinosaurs running around. Now, I agree. I like that. We all wanted to see dinosaurs running around in the streets and everything going on. And like Oreo said, the climate change was an interesting thing, but
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like there was
Felt as
any
forced.
stakes at all. Like they would just basically kill their own hype for everything going on, and I was just like, hey, I'm not really feeling it. And then the acting obviously was very shoddy. And it just felt like it was a nostalgia kick, like bringing everybody back. I was like,
Yeah, that
why
was
did
a
you
little.
do that though,
It's
man?
giving a
Like
lot
stand on your own.
parts too.
Yeah. Like, why did you have to do that? Like, and they kept doing that with Jeff Goldblum
Sizzler
anyway.
and all that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like they had to
that's a little
rewrite,
like,
they correct a mistake. Oh, he should have been with her the whole time. Yeah, no shit. I don't know why you guys wrote it differently.
wrote it differently. Like, see the fan. See, it felt like fanfic while they were trying to write their own new thing, and it just didn't mingle. But I would give it just the same, like a 7 out of 10 for the entire franchise. It's a solid watch if you're trying to just do a Jurassic Park marathon
Plus
of
the
all of the
shows
films,
too.
plus
So
the shows.
yeah,
Yeah, you could definitely do it.
yeah. All right, guys. So this has been an awesome, awesome episode. Oreo, can you tell our listeners here on the Real Sharks podcast where to find all your stuff, all your channel?
I'm on YouTube, Oreo Brewer. Easy as hell to find. I'm on Twitter, SW the Drake and Saga. And I'm also on Wattpad under Immortal Beloved 89, all one word. So you can check out my writing and whatnot. And I got all kinds of playlists on YouTube that you can fuck with. I'm almost working on my way to 1,000 subscribers so I can give away some shit finally.
Nice. Well, we love to have you on, man. It was great to have you on, of course.
Definitely. I want to come back.
Oh, definitely, bro. Definitely gonna have you back on. Of course, man. You an honorary Real Shark now. We gotta send you the fin hat. All right. So this has been the Real Sharks podcast, of course, with your host Rob and his co-host Donna, Steve,
Yo.
and of course Oreo Brewer. Make sure you guys check out his channel. Make sure you guys listen, like, and subscribe to wherever Real Sharks is found on any podcast broadcasting platforms. And we will say. Catch you guys on the flip side from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.